Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's deeper than what meets the eye, what most men want during intimate moments. Now, I know the title might catch you off guard, but trust me, what we're exploring today goes way beyond the surface. These aren't just casual preferences, they're emotional truths. Things that men often don't say out loud, but absolutely crave eye contact that speaks louder than words, a soft voice that brings them into the moment, real and raw reactions, the power of comfort over perfection. A little bit of laughter to ease the mood. And perhaps most importantly, a connection that lingers long after the moment has passed. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below letting me know what title you want me to cover next. I love hearing your thoughts. And who knows, your suggestion might just be the next video we bring to life. Let's get into it. When we talk about intimacy, many people immediately think of physical touch or the obvious expressions of affection. But one of the most powerful yet often overlooked aspects of connection during intimate moments is eye contact. There's something so deeply human about it, something so raw and primal. You see, when you lock eyes with someone, especially in a moment of closeness, there's a whole world being communicated between you. It's not just the exchange of looks, it's a silent conversation, a deeper understanding that transcends words. Think about it for a second. When you're with someone you're emotionally connected to, the way you look at them can express more than 1,000 words ever could. There's an entire story that can unfold in a simple glance, an unspoken dialogue that flows effortlessly between you. The right kind of eye contact can convey affection, desire, and reassurance all without saying a single word. And that, my friends, is something really special. Now, why is eye contact so powerful? When we engage in intimate moments, we're vulnerable. We're sharing parts of ourselves, often in ways that are difficult to articulate. The act of holding someone's gaze is one of the most intimate things we can do, because it shows we're not only physically present, but emotionally available as well. It's about truly seeing the other person, understanding them, and allowing them to see us flaws, insecurities and all. There's a sense of trust in that moment. When we look into someone's eyes, we're inviting them into our inner world, and in turn, we're entering theirs. In those fleeting moments of eye contact, you might find that words seem unnecessary. Sometimes silence speaks louder than anything you could ever say. There's an understanding that passes between you, a kind of unspoken communication that words can't quite capture. It's the look that says, I'm here with you, or I'm listening, or I care about you more than you know. It's a connection that doesn't need validation or explanation. It simply is. And this is where it gets really beautiful. Eye contact during intimate moments isn't just about conveying desire or attraction. It's also about fostering emotional closeness. Think about the moments when someone truly sees you, not just on the surface, but deep down where your thoughts and feelings lie. It feels incredible, doesn't it? That is the power of genuine eye contact. It's not about staring into someone's eyes for the sake of it. It's about looking with intention, with purpose, with empathy. It's about being present in the moment and showing the other person that you're truly engaged with them, emotionally and mentally. When we're vulnerable, when we're sharing something deep, the ability to look into each other's eyes can ground us. It reassures us that we're not alone, that we're not being judged or misunderstood. And the thing is, it's not just the act of looking into someone's eyes that matters, it's the emotional energy we bring to that gaze. Are we truly present? Or are we just going through the motions? There's a big difference, isn't there? A lot of the time when we're caught up in our own thoughts, we can forget to make that eye contact. But when we're able to engage in those moments of connection, when we give the other person our full attention, it creates something so powerful. Eye contact in those intimate moments acts as a bridge. It connects us in a way that words alone can't. It builds that emotional intimacy and lets the other person know that we see them, we hear them, and we appreciate them. It's an incredibly powerful tool for building closeness and deepening that emotional bond. And let's not forget the role of eye contact in building trust. Trust is a cornerstone of any healthy, intimate relationship. It's what allows us to open up, to be vulnerable, and to feel safe with someone. When we make genuine eye contact, we're showing the other person that they can trust us, that we're not hiding behind masks or barriers. Our eyes give us away, don't they? They say everything. They show sincerity, they show warmth, they show affection. They can even show a little bit of playfulness or mischief depending on the mood, of course. But in those moments, when we truly lock eyes with someone, it feels like everything falls into place. There's a sense of understanding, a shared space where no words are needed. And that, my friends, is one of the most intimate experiences we can have with another person. Think about the last time you shared a meaningful look with someone. Maybe it was in the middle of a conversation, or perhaps it was during a quiet moment, just the two of you where everything else faded away. That's the kind of connection I'm talking about. It's those moments when everything else seems irrelevant, and all that matters is the person standing in front of you. That's what eye contact does. It brings everything into focus. It allows us to truly connect on a deeper level than we ever could with words alone. So, the next time you're in an intimate moment, whether it's a quiet evening together or a more passionate encounter, remember the power of eye contact. Don't underestimate it. Don't let the opportunity slip by to truly see the other person. It's one of the most meaningful ways to communicate and build connection. And in those moments of genuine eye contact, you'll discover that sometimes no words are needed. The connection you share is far deeper than anything language can express. When we think about intimacy, we often focus on the physical touch, the gestures, and the things that can be seen or felt. But one of the most powerful aspects of any intimate moment is the voice. It's not about what we say, but how we say it. Your voice, even if it's just a whisper, has the power to create an atmosphere that speaks volumes. It can be soothing, it can be exciting, it can be comforting, and it can stir emotions in ways we don't always realize. Now think about how your voice feels when you're in close proximity to someone you care about, when you speak softly, when you whisper. It's almost as though you're letting that person into a private space. Your voice carries a certain intimacy in those moments. It's not the loud or dramatic statements that make the biggest impact. It's the subtle, gentle tones that speak to the heart. It's the quiet moments when you say something not because you have to, but because you want to, and the words themselves feel like a gift. A whisper is one of the most intimate things you can do with your voice. There's something incredibly personal about lowering your voice and sharing something in a way that only the person closest to you can hear. It's a kind of vulnerability. It's almost as if you're telling a secret, even when there's no need to. The mere act of speaking softly can make the other person feel cherished, like they are the only one in the world who matters at that moment. It's a way of saying you're special without ever having to use those words. It's a way of expressing affection and care that transcends what you're actually saying. But even beyond a whisper, the tone of your voice can set the mood of an entire interaction. Think about the difference between a soft, gentle tone and one that's rushed or harsh. When you speak slowly and with care, it allows the other person to feel at ease, to be fully present with you. It shows that you're not in a rush, that this moment with them is important and you're willing to savor it. And it's not just in intimate moments, this is something that can affect the entire dynamic of your relationship. The way you use your voice, how you tone it, the pace at which you speak, all these little things add layers of meaning to the connection you share. Sometimes it's not even about speaking words at all. It's about the way your voice communicates emotion. A simple breath, a sigh, or the rise and fall of your voice can carry a message far more powerful than any words ever could. Think about the last time someone whispered your name or spoke in a way that made your heart skip a beat. That's the magic of the voice. It's the way it can convey emotions that are hard to put into words. It can say, I'm here for you, I care about you, or I'm attracted to you with nothing more than a tone, a volume, and a slight inflection. But let's take it even further. There's something incredibly exciting about the power of a well-timed whisper in the right moment. Imagine you're sharing a quiet, intimate moment with someone, and they lean in close to whisper something in your ear. It doesn't have to be anything grand or overly poetic. It's the act itself that holds weight. It's the trust involved in leaning in so close, allowing your voice to be the bridge between you and the sensation of that soft, intimate sound that reverberates in a way nothing else can. It creates a spark, a kind of electricity between two people that is as thrilling as it is vulnerable. In many ways, the voice is the unsung hero of intimacy. We talk so often about physical touch, about the things we do with our bodies, but our voices have the ability to impact just as deeply, if not more so. There's a reason why hearing someone's voice can make us feel comforted, safe, and loved. It's not about the actual words we're speaking, it's about the warmth, the care, the intention behind them. When your voice is soft and deliberate, when it shows that you're paying attention to the other person, it speaks volumes about how much you care. When your voice is calm, steady, and full of intention, it creates an environment where the other person feels heard, valued, and respected. In intimate moments, that sense of respect and care can go a long way. It builds trust and deepens the emotional connection. It's as if your voice is saying, "I'm here with you. I'm present. I'm listening." And in that space, the other person can truly let their guard down and open. It's not just about the tone of your voice, but also the words you choose. A simple compliment, a quiet affirmation, or a soft "I'm here" can mean so much more when it's said with sincerity and warmth. You don't have to say something profound to make an impact. Sometimes it's the smallest words, spoken in the gentlest way, that carry the deepest meaning. Those are the words that make the other person feel seen and appreciated. They make the moment feel intimate and special. But there's also a power in silence. The way silence fills the space between words can be just as intimate as speaking. In those moments, your presence speaks louder than anything you could say. The gentle hum of your breathing, the soft sound of your voice when you do speak, it all creates a rhythm, a flow that enhances the connection you share. And this too is something that can't be underestimated. In the end, it's the subtlety, the nuance, and the intention behind your voice that makes it so powerful. It's not about shouting or speaking with intensity all the time. Sometimes it's the quiet moments, the whispers, the gentle tones that leave the most lasting impression. They show the other person that you are fully present, that you are emotionally available, and that you care. And when those moments are shared, the connection becomes deeper, more meaningful, and more intimate than you could have imagined. So never underestimate the power of your voice. Even when it's just a whisper, it has the potential to create an emotional bond that lasts far longer than any physical touch. It's a beautiful tool, one that can deepen your connection in ways words alone cannot. And when used with care, with intention, and with the right amount of tenderness, it becomes one of the most intimate gifts you can give. When we talk about intimacy and connection, there's one thing that stands out above all else: authenticity. In any intimate moment, whether you're sharing a quiet evening together or a more passionate encounter, nothing beats the raw, unscripted reactions that come naturally. The truth is, real moments are often far more memorable, far more impactful than anything that's planned or rehearsed. There's a beauty in spontaneity that simply can't be replicated. Think about it for a second. When you're with someone and you both just respond in the moment, without thinking too much or trying to control the situation, that's where the magic happens. It's in those unscripted moments when you share a laugh, when something unexpected happens, or when your reactions come from a place of genuine feeling. Those are the moments that create the strongest bonds because they reflect who you truly are, without any pretense or artifice. You see, there's something incredibly powerful about being completely yourself in an intimate setting. When you're not trying to be someone you're not, when you're not worrying about how you're being perceived, that's when your true emotions come to the surface. And in those moments, there's a sense of vulnerability that draws you closer to the other person. It's a reminder that you don't have to be perfect, that you don't have to have it all figured out. You can simply be real. And that's enough. In fact, it's more than enough. It's everything. Think about the last time you had a real, unscripted moment with someone, whether it was something funny, something unexpected, or something deeply emotional. It probably wasn't something you could have planned, something that was perfectly timed or calculated. No, it was a spontaneous reaction to the situation, and that's what made it special. It was real. It wasn't forced. It wasn't a performance. It was just the two of you responding to each other and to the moment without any filters. And in that simplicity, there's a kind of raw beauty. That's the thing about authenticity. It's unpredictable. It's messy. It's not always polished or perfect. And yet, it's precisely that imperfection that makes it so meaningful. We often get caught up in trying to do things right when it comes to relationships or intimacy. We think we need to say the perfect thing, look a certain way, or do everything exactly as we've seen in movies or read about in books. But the reality is, those perfectly scripted moments are often less memorable because they lack the depth that comes with raw, unscripted emotion. There's no room for true connection when everything is planned and rehearsed. The beauty of intimacy lies in the moments that surprise us, in the spontaneous bursts of laughter, in the unexpected expressions of affection. This is where the power of authenticity truly shines. When you let go of the need to control or perform, you give yourself the freedom to experience the moment fully. And when you're fully immersed in the present, the other person feels that too. They can sense when you're being genuine, when your reactions come from a place of true feeling. That's when they feel safe, when they feel that they can truly be themselves as well. The more you embrace those unscripted moments, the deeper the connection becomes. It's not just about the big moments either. Authenticity shows up in the small, everyday interactions, those little gestures, those quick glances, those soft words that come out without you even thinking about them. They're the moments when you're not trying to impress anyone, when you're simply enjoying each other's company. And while these moments may seem insignificant at the time, they build a foundation of trust and understanding that strengthens your bond over time. This is what makes real, unscripted reactions so powerful. They're unguarded, they're spontaneous, and they're incredibly meaningful. When you laugh without worrying about whether your laugh sounds perfect, when you show emotion without holding back, it's a sign of trust. It's saying to the other person, I'm comfortable enough with you to be myself, to let down my guard, and to just be real. That kind of vulnerability is what deepens the connection between two people. It's what creates that sense of closeness that can't be faked or forced. And it's not just about showing emotion either. It's also about how you respond to the other person's unscripted reactions. When someone is being authentic with you, it's your turn to be real as well. If they laugh, you laugh. If they share something vulnerable, you respond with empathy and understanding. It's about meeting them in the moment and reflecting the same authenticity that they've shown. It's this mutual exchange of raw, unscripted reactions that creates a bond that's stronger than any carefully planned conversation. What's also fascinating is how real, spontaneous reactions can shift the energy in a room. In a way, they break down walls. There's something freeing about laughing at something silly, sharing a genuine moment of surprise, or just reacting naturally to the situation. It makes the whole experience feel less serious and more human. When you allow yourself to laugh, to cry, to be surprised, and to feel without worrying about how it might look, you create a space where the other person can do the same. It's liberating, really, and it brings you closer together in a way that nothing else can. We've all had moments where we've tried to be perfect in front of someone, maybe trying to impress them or worrying about how we come across. But the truth is, no one is perfect. And when we let go of that need for perfection, that's when we're able to connect on a deeper level. It's the moments when we're unpolished, when we're ourselves, that we leave the biggest impression. Because those are the moments that show we're human, that we're real, and that we're willing to be vulnerable with someone else. In the end, real, unscripted reactions are the heart of true intimacy. They remind us that we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to perform. We just have to be present, be ourselves, and allow the moment to unfold naturally. And in those moments, we find something deeper, something more meaningful, something that will stay with us long after the moment has passed. When we embrace authenticity, we create connections that are genuine, lasting, and unforgettable. When we talk about what creates intimacy, we often think of the grand gestures, the perfectly timed moments, and the flawless appearances that sometimes fill our social media feeds. We see these polished, idealized representations of what intimacy should look like. And it's easy to get caught up in the idea that we have to meet some standard of perfection to experience deep connection with someone else. But the truth is, nothing could be further from the reality of how true intimacy works. At the heart of every meaningful connection, it's not perfection that matters, it's comfort. It's the emotional safety that comes when you can truly be yourself without the fear of being judged or scrutinized. It's the ability to be vulnerable, to show up as you are, flaws and all, and still feel loved, accepted, and valued. In fact, when you create a space of comfort, you open the door for something far deeper than any perfect exterior could ever offer. It's in that comfort that real intimacy blossoms, that connection becomes strong, and that trust is built. Think about it for a second. How many times have we seen people strive for perfection in their relationships? Whether it's trying to look a certain way, say the right things, or follow a specific script of how things should go, so many of us put pressure on ourselves to be flawless. And yet, when you look at the relationships that stand the test of time, the ones that are the most solid, it's rarely because the people involved were perfect. It's because they created an environment where both people could feel completely at ease, where they didn't have to constantly perform or hide parts of themselves. They didn't have to be perfect, they just had to be comfortable enough to be real. And that's when the true magic happens. When you're with someone, there's something incredibly powerful about the idea of just letting go of the pressure to get everything right. You don't need to say the perfect thing. You don't need to be flawless. You don't need to impress them with your appearance or your accomplishments. You just need to feel safe enough to be yourself. And when you're able to do that, the other person feels it. They can tell when you're being authentic. They can tell when you're not putting on a mask, and that's when they feel comfortable enough to let their own guard down. It's a beautiful thing, really, this idea of creating emotional safety. It's the feeling of knowing that you don't have to pretend, that there's no expectation for you to be anyone other than who you truly are. It's knowing that no matter how awkward you may feel, no matter how messy your thoughts might be, the other person is there to accept you, to understand you, and to meet you exactly where you are. There's a profound sense of relief that comes with that kind of comfort. It's a freedom to express to share your thoughts, and to experience the moment without worrying about being perfect. Now, when you think about physical intimacy, it often gets tied to perfection too. There's this unrealistic image that intimacy has to look a certain way. There's a pressure to be perfectly attractive, to look your best at all times, and to follow a script of what's supposed to happen next. But in reality, the moments that are most meaningful aren't the ones where everything is flawless. They're the moments where both people feel comfortable with each other, where the pressure to look perfect is replaced with the freedom to just be in the moment. It's not about having the perfect body or the perfect setup. It's about the emotional space you create where both people feel seen and accepted. Comfort is about showing up authentically without worrying about how you're being perceived. It's the confidence that comes from knowing that the person in front of you isn't judging you, isn't expecting you to perform in a certain way. And the more comfortable you feel, the more that freedom allows you to connect on a deeper level. You can laugh without inhibitions, express your emotions without fear, and truly experience the other person for who they are, not just the version of themselves they're trying to present to the world. And the interesting thing is, this comfort doesn't just create space for emotional connection, it enhances physical intimacy as well. When you feel comfortable and safe with someone, it changes how you interact with them on every level. There's less self-consciousness, less worry about how things might look or whether you're doing things right. Instead, there's just a natural flow to the interaction. It's less about trying to achieve something and more about being present, enjoying the experience, and fully engaging with each other in a way that feels easy and organic. The irony is that the more comfortable you are, the more fulfilling your experience becomes. It's not about perfecting every little detail or striving for some ideal version of what intimacy should be. It's about creating a space where both people feel safe to be themselves. And that's where the connection gets truly deep. Because, let's face it, no one wants to feel like they're constantly being graded, whether it's on their looks, their actions, or how they behave in an intimate setting. We all want to feel like we're accepted as we are, with all of our flaws and imperfections. And when we can offer that to someone else, when we create that safe space for them, they're able to relax, let go, and engage with us in a way that is so much more meaningful than any perfect moment could ever be. This is the foundation of real intimacy. It's not about perfection, it's about the willingness to be vulnerable, to show up as you are, and to create a space where both people feel comfortable and accepted. When you make that emotional safety a priority, you're creating the perfect environment for intimacy to grow. It's not about the ideal situation, it's about the real situation where both people feel free to be themselves. And when you can foster that kind of comfort in your relationship, that's when you build something truly lasting. So the next time you find yourself trying to make things perfect, whether it's the setting, the conversation, or even your appearance, Remember this, it's not about perfection at all. It's about creating an environment where both of you feel completely at ease, where the pressure to perform fades away, and where you can just be real. That's the kind of connection that leads to something deep, something meaningful, something that lasts. And that's what intimacy is all about. There's something undeniably magical about laughter. It's not just a response to something funny or entertaining, but it's a powerful tool in building deeper connections and easing tension in moments that might otherwise feel awkward or uncomfortable. When you share a laugh with someone, you're not just having a moment of enjoyment, you're sharing an emotional experience that creates a bond between you. Laughter is one of those rare moments when you truly let go, when the pressure of being perfect, of trying to manage every interaction, falls away. It brings a sense of lightness that's contagious and, at its best, can strengthen a relationship in ways that nothing else can. Think about it when you're with someone and you laugh together, there's an immediate sense of relief, right? Whether it's a shared joke, something funny that happens unexpectedly, or just a moment of genuine silliness, laughter brings this wave of warmth and connection. It breaks down barriers, allowing you to be vulnerable with each other, because it's not about impressing or performing. It's about sharing joy, and in doing so, you find a space where you can both be yourself. There's a simplicity in that. Humor doesn't require anything other than a willingness to be present and to embrace the moment as it is. But let's not overlook the deeper layers of why humor is so impactful in relationships. At its core, laughter is an emotional response, and it speaks to a kind of understanding between two people. When you laugh together, it's a subtle, unspoken acknowledgement that you're on the same wavelength. You get each other. There's a shared perspective or recognition of something that you both find amusing, and that alignment creates a connection that's both meaningful and comforting. It's an easy way to communicate that says, "I see you," in a way that words sometimes struggle to do. Laughter also plays a crucial role in easing tension. Think about the times when you've been in a situation that felt a little too serious or uncomfortable. Maybe there was a bit of awkwardness in the air, or the conversation took a turn that made you both feel uneasy. And then in the middle of it all, something happens, someone cracks a joke, someone says something ridiculous, or there's just a moment of absurdity that shifts the energy completely. What happens? The tension breaks. It's like the air clears and the pressure that was there is suddenly lifted. You both can relax again, and the mood shifts from something potentially heavy to something light and free. That's the power of laughter. When you laugh with someone, it invites a certain ease into the relationship. It reminds both of you that, at the end of the day, not everything has to be serious. You don't have to constantly monitor every word or action. Laughter encourages spontaneity, and with that spontaneity comes comfort. It's a sign that you don't have to try too hard, that things don't need to be rehearsed or controlled. It's like saying, "We can just be." And that's more than enough. This is especially important in the context of intimacy. When you're close to someone, there's a natural vulnerability that comes with it. You're exposing parts of yourself that might otherwise remain hidden, and that can feel risky. But humor gives you a way to navigate that vulnerability with a little less pressure. It's like a safety net in moments when the stakes feel higher than they really are. You can laugh at yourself, at the situation, or at the absurdity of life, and in doing so, you ease the emotional tension that often surrounds intimacy. And let's not forget the role humor plays in creating a sense of playfulness. When you're able to joke around, to laugh together over the smallest things, you tap into a kind of lighthearted energy that keeps things fun and engaging. It allows you to approach each other not just as partners or lovers, but as teammates, as people who can enjoy life together, who can take things lightly when necessary. Playfulness is a cornerstone of a healthy relationship because it keeps things fresh. It prevents things from becoming too heavy or predictable. Laughter invites spontaneity, surprise, and adventure. It reminds both of you that there's joy in being together, and that joy can exist in the most unexpected moments. Now, let's consider another layer to laughter's impact. It fosters trust. When you laugh together, you're sharing an emotional experience that's not about judgment or criticism. You're not measuring each other's worth or abilities. You're simply sharing a moment of levity. In that, you create a space where both of you feel safe to let go, to be a little silly, or even to be a little vulnerable. When you laugh with someone, it builds a sense of camaraderie, and with that camaraderie comes a sense of trust. It's the kind of trust that says, I'm comfortable enough with you to show this side of me, to let down my guard and just be in the moment with you. This kind of trust is essential in any meaningful relationship, especially in the context of intimacy. If you can laugh together without fear of judgment, if you can share that kind of unfiltered joy, it paves the way for deeper emotional and physical connections. You're not just creating a shared memory, you're building a shared foundation of comfort and mutual understanding. Humor, at its best, invites an open exchange of feelings, ideas, and experiences. It takes the pressure off, and in doing so, allows both people to be more present, more engaged, and more connected. Let's also think about how laughter helps us navigate the tougher moments in relationships. Life isn't always easy, and no relationship is without its challenges. But humor has a remarkable way of helping us cope with stress, disappointment, or even conflict. It gives us a way to approach difficult situations with a sense of resilience, knowing that, even in tough times, we can still find moments to laugh. It doesn't diminish the importance of the situation or the feelings involved. It simply provides a way to stay grounded, to approach things with a lighter heart, and to keep perspective. And ultimately, humor strengthens the emotional bonds between two people by allowing them to navigate life's ups and downs together with a sense of shared joy. It shows that no matter what happens, you've got each other and you can always find something to laugh about. Laughter helps you keep the connection alive and vibrant, even through the challenging moments. It's a reminder that life is not just about the serious times. It's about enjoying each other's company, finding joy in the little things, and celebrating the moments that make life truly worthwhile. So the next time you find yourself laughing with someone, remember that it's more than just a moment of amusement. It's a powerful tool in building connection, easing tension, and strengthening the emotional bond between you. It's an invitation to be real, to be playful, and to experience the joy of being together. Laughter isn't just a response, it's a way of creating a deeper, more meaningful connection that lasts long after the moment has passed. When we talk about intimacy, it's easy to think of it as just the moments in the here and now, the close, physical connection that we share with someone in a given moment. But true intimacy isn't just about what happens in that fleeting time. It's about what lingers afterward, the way that connection extends beyond the physical into the emotional and psychological. It's about creating a bond that doesn't fade as soon as the moment ends, but instead continues to grow and evolve long after the encounter is over. What's often overlooked in intimate moments is the emotional connection that comes after. Too many people are focused solely on the physicality of intimacy, thinking that once the moment has passed, the connection is over. But the reality is that the emotional tie that you share with someone during those intimate moments doesn't stop when the physical interaction ends. In fact, it's during this time, in the hours, days, or even weeks that follow, that the true depth of the connection is revealed. It's the way you check in with each other after the fact. It's the texts, the calls, the small gestures that show that what you shared wasn't just a moment. It was a continuation of the relationship you're building together. This idea of emotional connection lasting beyond the moment is something that often gets missed when we focus only on the immediate gratification of an intimate encounter. But intimacy isn't just about the here and now, it's about creating something that lasts. It's about knowing that after the physical connection has ended, the emotional impact remains. That lingering sense of closeness, the warmth of being seen and understood, doesn't dissipate. Instead, it continues to build, to strengthen the bond you share with the person you're with. One of the key things that helps foster this lasting connection is the emotional presence that you bring to each moment. It's not just about being there physically, it's about being there emotionally, being attentive, being engaged. It's about making sure that the other person feels valued and heard, not just in the heat of the moment, but afterward as well. After all, intimacy is about connection, and connection doesn't stop once the act is over. If you truly care about someone, you'll want to nurture that emotional connection every day, not just during those brief moments when physical closeness is shared. When you look at the relationships that stand the test of time, the ones that last beyond a mere physical connection, they're usually the ones where emotional intimacy extends far beyond the initial encounter. It's the follow-up, It's the effort to stay emotionally available, to check in with one another, to ensure that the bond remains strong and healthy. It's the messages of care, the calls to see how the other person is feeling, and the small acts that show you're still thinking about them long after the intimate moment has passed. Creating a lasting connection isn't just about what you do during the moment itself. It's about the aftercare, the little things that reinforce the bond. It's about making sure that the other person feels valued and cherished, and not just in the fleeting moment, but in the time that follows. This is where true emotional intimacy comes in. And it's one of the most powerful aspects of building a lasting relationship. Because if you want the connection to last, you have to be willing to put in the effort to maintain it. It doesn't end with the physical, it continues with the emotional support, care, and consideration that you show for one another. There's also a kind of reassurance that comes from this lasting emotional connection. When you know that the bond you share doesn't end when the moment ends, there's a sense of security that comes with it. You know that no matter what, you're still connected, still valued, still cared for. That sense of reassurance is what creates trust, and trust is the foundation of any lasting relationship. It's the quiet understanding that the emotional connection you share goes far beyond the physicality of a single moment. It's the knowledge that you're not just two people who share a fleeting experience, you're two people who are invested in each other, who care about each other, and who are committed to staying emotionally connected long after the physical intimacy has ended. In many ways, the lasting connection is what turns a physical experience into something deeper and more meaningful. It's what gives intimacy the depth it deserves. It's not just about what happens in the heat of the moment, but about what comes after. It's about maintaining that closeness, that warmth, that emotional connection, even after the initial encounter is over. And the beauty of it is that when you nurture that connection, it only grows stronger. The emotional intimacy that you build in those moments doesn't just remain static, it evolves. It deepens. It becomes the foundation for something that lasts. And think about the kind of connection that forms when both people are emotionally invested in keeping that bond alive. It creates a sense of unity, a shared sense of purpose. You both want to see the relationship thrive, and so you work together to maintain that emotional closeness. Whether it's through simple gestures of affection, through checking in with each other, or through deep conversations that go beyond the surface, you continue to build that emotional intimacy, creating something that is far more than just physical. It becomes a relationship rooted in understanding, respect, and care. This is the kind of connection that stays with you long after the moment is over. It's the kind of intimacy that continues to build, to strengthen, to evolve. When you create emotional bonds that last beyond the initial moment, you set the stage for something far more meaningful, far more fulfilling. Because intimacy isn't just about the physical closeness you share in the moment, it's about the lasting emotional connection that endures. It's the reminder that even after everything is over, the bond remains. And that's what makes intimacy truly special.